Hey everyone, welcome to It Tastes Different Game Reviews. What are we reviewing this time? Shadow Gambit, The Cursed Crew. Yar. Shadow Gambit, The Cursed Crew is developed and published by Mimimi Games. It came out on PlayStation 5, Windows, Xbox Series X and S on August 17th of 2023. It is a real-time tactics kind of stealth game, single player. Mimimi Games also made some other games that people may be more familiar with, being Shadow Tactics or even Desperadoes 3. So, I've heard of both of those games, and I think possibly maybe own those games as well. So this is just another game by them. They're really good at the tactical strategy type genre, and that's what they've done here. It's basically you and your band of undead pirates are going on a trip to bring back the boat to life, your ship back from the dead, in a sense, I guess, even though everyone's dead. But that's kind of the concept of it. But yeah, it's a stealth game. You get to go through, stealth through areas for different story missions and things like that, and different stealth through them in different innovative and kind of approach it in a sense of however you want to, right? There is no right or wrong way of doing things. You can stealth around or go in guns blazing, I guess, if you want to. It might be a little bit more difficult, but you can do that. And, the game gives you a lot of different tools to handle the situations with your different crew members having different abilities and things of that nature. So we'll go around and see what everybody thought of this game. Pat, let's start with you, buddy. What did you think of Shadow Gambit?
It's an interesting concept, a stealth tactical. Like, I love tactical RPGs, they're fun games to be able to set up a squad to go do things and tackle missions differently than you want. And I really didn't look too much into this game before I picked it up, because I didn't realize it was real-time tactical stealth game, which is kind of an odd combo, right? It's real-time tactical, but it's also stealth-based, so there's no turn-based to it. When the combat starts, it starts. The game has a concept that is in all stealth, in all tactical games. I don't even remember what the ability's called now, but it's the bell, where basically you save your position in time, and at any time you can go back to the bell. So basically this game is condoning safe scumming, is really what it is. So, no problem with that. It's just kind of funny that they took a thing that people do and they built it into a mechanic in the game, really, because really you are saving the game and then you could travel back. So there's times where I've used that quite a few times. You're like, oh, I got saw, so it's initiated combat and I wasn't ready to take on 4 or 5 guys. So I was like, so what is kind of cool too is that you can do like triggered combat events where you can trigger all your people to attack at the same time, which is kind of cool. Sometimes it's a pain in the ass to set up. I will admit that I'm like watching guys patrolling and I'm like, okay, I'm going to use this guy to jump over here, wait for this guy to cross next to the bush. And then, and then all this other stuff, your pirate crew all has different abilities. So it makes it kind of interesting to see the team up and the combinations that you could pull off. So overall that's pretty good. My biggest complaint with the game is the damn default key bindings. I pretty much ripped out the entire key bindings. Like, I don't know who designed this thing, but they're having you use like the left and the arrow keys on the keyboard to rotate the map and crap. And I completely remapped all that to the Q, W, E, and S. I'm like, I had to completely remap my entire keyboard, which was annoying in itself because they had like 3 options, and none of them seemed to make any type of sense to me. They needed a little bit more key mapping options. Like, I couldn't do any alt or shift keys. It was all just single key binding. So that really drove me nuts. But overall, if you like Shadow Tactics and I'm more like the not real time strategy RPGs. I like their tactical RPGs, I should say. I like mine to be more turn based, so I can initiate things and then take turns, kind of like XCOM style, more than that. But this game was fun for what it is. It pulled me away from Baldur's Gate 3 for a little while, but not long enough. So, but if you like this type of game, you'll probably like Shadow Tactics if you've not played it. And then, so they've got a couple of different games out there. What Mimimi Games does, but Shadow Gambit is the latest in their outpouring. But they seem to stick around the same type of games, right? Desperadoes 3 was a tactical RPG. Shadow Tactics is very much similar, the same. So, overall, I think it's good. I don't, unfortunately, it wasn't a full price game neither. I don't think, was it? I was trying to remember what I paid for. I don't think I paid it was a $40 game. So, that it is short. The stages, there's not that many stages in the game. So, it kind of goes that's kind of, in my opinion, where it falls short. I do like the only way you get new crew members is by, gaining the orbs and then the spirit to resurrect them, or you got to find them first, put them on the ship, and then you can resurrect them. So, Shane, what do you think about this game, man? What are your initial thoughts of Shadow Gambit?
I surprisingly liked it. I didn't know much about it. I knew we were going to review it. That's about as much notification I had as type of game this was, really. Downloaded it, fired it up, and pirates, but dead pirates. So that made it funner. I like pirate stuff. It's kind of cool. It took me a bit to get used to the gameplay. This typically isn't in my cup of tea, my wheelhouse, what you want to call it. But I played on console. So there's a big difference between how Pat probably experienced it and I did as far as the gameplay. The gameplay I didn't have a problem with until you unlock more abilities and things like that. And then you're changing things up. I kept screwing up with the D-pad at the beginning. Like if you hit this, it's going to zoom all the way out to the overhead map of the islands or whatever you're on. And then you hit it again. And if you hit right on the D-pad, I think it turns on the zone, the cone of sight. Once I got that down, though, I didn't really have a problem until the more abilities, things like that. That's when I had a little more issue. I think it definitely a better PC experience, keyboard and mouse experience, for the being able to customize all those bindings like Pat did. But I didn't, after I got, more used to it, I still had a few issues, but I enjoyed it. I like the stealth aspect, and I like the save spamming aspect because I used it a lot. I mean, a lot. And it took me forever to realize if you hold the right trigger, you can free look around the map, but you can also speed up time. You can fast forward so people running their paths, things like that. And that's that makes things a little smoother, a little easier, because you kind of like Metal Gear Solid, you get a bead for the path, you just wait for them to come around and pop heads. I enjoyed the game. I didn't think I would, but I did. Graphics are pretty nice. It's comical. We've had a lot of comical pirate games lately, and I think this one's as far as dialogue and voice acting, I think it's all pretty dang good. $40, I think it's a worthy game. This isn't my wheelhouse typically, but I definitely am not losing out on $40 because I think it was worth it. I think the time frame for this, I think it was 6 chapters or 8. I can't remember, something like that. I think it was 8. But it's solid for the 8. It took me a while to just get through the first mission because I kept screwing up and I had to go back time at the very beginning when you have to cross the chain to get to the boat. I kept screwing that whole area up, and it took me forever to realize I have to go across the chain. I'm walking around trying to find doors and stuff, and I went and killed some people on the other side. I didn't even need to go near them. So definitely use the free look. That's my biggest tip. Free look. Free look is good. It looks very good. But I enjoyed the game. What about you, Nick?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting Skull and Bones to be this way from Ubisoft, but it turned out pretty, different than I was expecting. Oh wait, sorry, wrong game. That game's, I guess, never going to come out. I mean, it's going to closed beta, so they say, but we'll see. Shadow Gambit. Yeah, it's a fun game. I have played Mimimi's games before. Some of these their other games, so it's very reminiscent of those other ones, right? And like Pat said, they try to stick around the same kind of genre with their titles, which that's fine. Hone your craft type of thing, right? It seems from Shadow Gambit that they're kind of doing that, right? They're taking aspects from their earlier games that follow that same thing and kind of including that and making it better in this one, right? So I'd say out of the tactical real-time strategy stealth type games, this is a really good one, right? They do a really good job of introducing all the different aspects and the different abilities and the save scumming, like Pat said, putting that as a mechanic in the game is a really neat idea, right? More games should do that, especially games like Baldur's Gate's a big save scumming game. Like they should have incorporated something into that, right? And there's a lot of games that are like that. It'd be cool to see developers do something similar. It doesn't have to be like reversing time or anything, but I mean, I don't know, something in there that makes sense with that. I mean, save scumming is kind of reversing time, but something like some sort of aspect that would be pretty neat. But overall, this game is pretty cool. And yeah, for $40, it's not a $70 game, so they're not asking for a full price of today's games for this. And there's quite a bit of content for $40. Yeah, the graphics look nice. The stealth action's fun. You can go around and think of different ways to kill enemies, and like Shane said, you can hit the button to put up the enemy's cone of view, so you can kind of use that to determine how you're going to approach something. You can also kind of, in a sense, set up a thing where you can tell the system that you want to move to this aspect, and if you did so, who would be able to see you there. And it will like show a little eyeball and like this little line of sight type of thing saying like, hey, if you move here, these 3 people are going to be able to see you. And you're like, oh, then I guess I won't do that. Right. Or maybe think of a way to, set up an action with your crew or something where you can take multiple people out at once or whatever. But, and then once you take out a crew or one of the bad guys, you can then carry their bodies into the brush so that you don't get detected by other people and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a neat game. If you like these types of games, if you like real-time strategy and with stealth, if you played any other Mimimi games, their previous games, I think you'll like this one a lot, especially if you like pirates and stuff like that, and you like real-time strategy, you'll definitely like this game. And at $40, it's a win-win in that regard. Much like Shane, since we have game share, Shane, we picked it up on Xbox, so I played it with a controller as well, and it seemed to work just fine. I think it would be more suited with a keyboard and mouse. These types of games typically are, but it worked just fine with a controller. So if controller is your only option, I don't think you'll have a huge problem, right? You might have a little bit of hurdles here and there because, again, keyboard just has more buttons, right? But ultimately, you're still after a while playing, you'll get the gist of everything and be able to smoothly go through and play the game. So I think ultimately, yeah, it's a really good game. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, I think it's, there's really nothing like super bad about it, So
nope. When my biggest complaint is key bindings, then that should tell you something. But yeah, I played it on PC. I always play my tactical RPGs and stuff like that on PC. I just find there more, like Nick said, there's more buttons to map stuff to and to do things to, because I can't tell you, I don't know how I would, they call it free look on the console, but man, I'm used to being able to look wherever I want on the map at any given time. And that's one of the benefits of PC. They bound those to the arrow keys on the keyboard. I'm like, this is garbage. Those are going to my W, A, S, and D keys and the Q and E for rotate, So, because I mean, I don't know how it is on the console, but on the PC, the active abilities you can map to numbers like 1 through whatever on the keyboard, you know, so like this person's melee ability is this, and then you can right click and turn it into a non kill, so you know, non-killing type of attack. So, but I unmapped all those and I just made it to where I clicked on them or right clicked on them instead of button mapped them through 1 through whatever, because I wanted to use those for other things. I wanted to use those for my selecting my teammates, you know, and so it took a lot of extensive button remapping to get the way I wanted. So I'm probably glad I didn't get it on console. I'd be irritated on no end on the bind. It doesn't sound like there's a way to change any of the console controllers on the console. So
you can with your Pro controller. I don't ever, and I bitch about it, the controls, even though I can change it, but I never change the controller setups unless it's a shooter and I just, you know, I want to use my paddles, but you know, I'll just bitch about it. God dang it. Why did they do it this way? Why did they do it this way? You know, and I can, you know, change the buttons a little bit, but I just never do it.
All right.
That's on me.
Yeah. It's just an ironic game, right? Nobody ever talks about stealthy pirates. Pirates are not known to be stealthy, but these are some stealthy pirates. The Rear Admiral pirates are not very stealthy neither.
Yep. But they're scallywags.
There's scallywag. But no, I mean, that was kind of, I kind of laughed at that concept when I saw the game. I'm like, pirates aren't very stealthy. They're not known to be stealth, you know, but you know, it is what it is. And there's umpteen different ways to approach a map. Yeah. There's different landing points on the map once you progress further into the game and things like that. So all in all, it's a fun game. And at $40, yeah, it's worth it to me. And I think everybody else has given it pretty good reviews too. So, I mean, it's definitely, these guys know the tactical RPG realm and they keep trying new things with it. Like I said, there was cowboys and now there's pirates, and then they had Shogun, you know, samurai and all that stuff. So these guys are just running through the ages. What are we going to get next?
Aliens. Got to be aliens.
Aliens. Where do I had that? That's XCOM.
Yeah, they could do something with space, but yeah, I mean, you know, this developer, you know, if they continue making these types of games, it's just going to perfect it even more, right? And they've done a pretty good job with it here. So all they can do is just build on what they've built with Shadow Gambit. So if they continue to do that, you're going to get a lot of these nice real-time strategy stealth games from them coming in the future. And this is a good one. So do you guys got anything else you want to say about this game?
Anchors away.
Anchors away. Yes. I think we would all recommend it. So if you like these types of games, or maybe if you've never played these types of games and you kind of want to dabble in that, then I would definitely, for $40, I'd say go ahead and pick it up and try it out. It's, you know, from all of us, we think it's definitely worth playing. It's a lot of fun. It looks nice. Voice acting, abilities, stealth, real time. It's all included together in a nice little package that works well. But other than that, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, everybody. Let us know down in the comments below. What do you think of real-time strategy stealth games? What do you think of real-time strategies? Are you like Pat and more like turn-based type stuff, or do you more like the real-time strategy? I'm kind of with Pat. I like the turn-based tactics more myself because I do like to kind of go back and forth and choose my options. But everyone has their likes and dislikes. So let us know down in the comments below which one you prefer. Other than that, thanks for watching again. Make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe if you're not already. Do us a favor. Help us out. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell notifications as well to stay up to date with new videos that we do all the time. And we'll see you next time.
See ya.